I hope that you are having a great week so far. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I put up a question box on my Instagram and I got quite a few questions, which I was surprised about because I haven't been using Instagram very much, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But there is some really good questions, and I think this is probably my favorite questions I've been asked so far. There's like quite a range, so I'm just gonna hop right into it, but hopefully this will give you a chance to get to know me a little bit more. And it's kind of fascinating to just hear the questions you have, and even for me to have to think like, what is my answer for this? So just jumping right in, we're gonna start. Let's see. It's almost 20 questions, so I'll go as speedy as I can, but some of them are a little more in depth, so they'll take more time. So the first question is, do I plan to buy a house in California? I don't know. I feel like we're just praying through a lot of things right now, and we'll see, I guess. That's all I can say for now. Number two, how have I been? So I feel like that's kind of a loaded question lately. I mean, overall, I'd say I'm good, but there's been just some real like struggles in my day-to-day, and I think I'm just in this place where things are just one day at a time, and I'm learning that that's okay. So I've just had a lot of anxiety, just something that I'm working through that I personally have never experienced like this before. So just relying on the Lord more than I ever have, which is good for me. And I think just learning to not isolate. Like, I think just opening up and having trustworthy people in your life that you can share your struggles with is such a blessing. So if you're ever going through something, highly recommend having like a godly friend, or, you know, even in like a better scenario, like your spouse, a godly spouse that you can confide in and talk through things with and pray with. That has been so wonderful for me. Like, my sisters have been absolutely incredible as well, and just people that I will just text now on a whim and be like, hey, pray for me, today's kind of nuts. So that's been great. And let's see, I think also just the reminder that in life, like, God uses everything that you go through for your good and His glory. And I think that is one of the most comforting and beautiful truths that we have to cling to as believers, is that there's nothing wasted. All of it is used to grow us, and then in turn be an encouragement to somebody else. And I think in my worst moments, knowing that is such a wonderful source of encouragement for me. And also just remembering that God is near. And because I think in the midst of anxiety, it can feel a bit like your life's at a standstill and everyone's just moving full speed past you and going about their day, but you feel like you're just so stuck in this moment. But you're not actually alone. And I think that is absolutely incredible as well, to know that God is near and He's right beside you in those moments. And to think that, you know, God, who is sovereign over all, who is Lord over all, cares that deeply for us. That is so comforting to me, to know that there's, I mean, billions of people, and yet God loves me enough to be beside me in my darkest moments. And that in and of itself has given me strength in times where I felt like I was just so overwhelmed. So kind of a long answer there, but I am good and God's growing me, and I'm so thankful for that. Number three is so random. That's what I mean. You're gonna hear the most random things. What are some of your favorite Taylor Swift lyrics? I love Taylor Swift. I think that most people that know me know that. That's like my one artist for like well over a decade that like I am a diehard fan of. So gosh, okay. I really love her lyricism, so I do have like songs I'm like, oh, that's such a cool line and phrase, and it'll be like something that I really like thinking about, of just like how she breaks down things. But gosh, okay, one of like the deepest lyrics that I've heard of hers is on, I think it's Folklore, and it says, I tried to write some things down. It still hurts underneath these scars where they pulled me apart. I think that's just so deep, and I just think it's so like fascinating and cool just to hear the way she writes things. It's like so simple but so profound. So that one I really like right now. And then oh, I really like on the new album, Sweet Nothing, she says, all that you ever wanted from me was sweet nothing. And that makes me think of my husband, because he just loves me like exactly for who I am, and he's always been such an encouragement for me, not wanting anything in return. He just loves me so well, and so that made me think of him. So that's just me being, you know, all in my feelings. But I like those lyrics right now. Number 4 made me laugh because it was from one of our friends. Why does my husband talk so much? My husband talks a ton, which is great because I don't talk a ton. So we need that balance for sure. He's just very curious. Like he's always wanting to learn, always wants to understand things, which I would say is one of my favorite qualities about him. I mean, he'll come home from work and he'll just have listened to podcasts on history all day long, or all these other topics, and he just wants to learn things, and I love that. Like, I think he's incredibly smart, and yeah, he's a great guy. But why does he talk so much? He just does. Oh, I got to say this really funny story though. So we have talked a ton, obviously, because we're married and we've been together since I just turned 16 when we got together, so it's been a while. One of our goals, by the way, is like, we're so excited for that moment we can say we've been together longer than like we haven't been together. So we're coming up on that in a couple years, and that's like one of the coolest things to me. But we have just covered so much ground in our conversations over time, and we were in a community group and we played this game of like, who knows their spouse the best, and I like to say that Tanner and I know each other really well, but it came down to like a tiebreaker. And prior to this, they were very normal questions, like what's your spouse's favorite food, what's like their hobby, and just things that are more general, like what's their favorite color. But to win the tiebreaker, you had to know what animal your spouse would be, if they could be any animal. And Tanner and I knew what animal we would be. Like, I knew, it sounds hilarious, I knew that he would want to be an eagle because he really thinks it'd be incredible to know how to fly. And then I would want to be a reindeer because that's my favorite animal, and that's probably lame, but I think they're like the cutest animals, and I love Christmas time. They remind me of Christmas. So we knew that, and the whole group was like making fun of us. We're like, we're getting Taylor antler ears, because like they just could not believe that we knew that, and that we were so confident, and like we knew so many details of why. So that's like my funny story as to how much like we have talked and covered so much ground. But yeah, just very, very, very funny moment in our relationship. Ooh, let's see. What do I love most about Tanner? I love that question. Okay. I love the way his mind works. I think just being aware of how complex each person is, it just creates like this fascination when someone's so different than myself. Like, okay, so he's not hindered at all by his fears, whereas me, I have to be really careful to not like live in fear of things, because the unknown is just more intimidating to me. He's just someone that like, if something doesn't work out, he's just like, oh, we'll just try something else, and things just brush off his shoulders. And I think he's just created this environment throughout our marriage where I really feel like I can thrive and grow as a person because of his confidence and things, and the way that he doesn't let a lot of scenarios like phase him in a negative way and like bring him down. I think that's been something that has just been such a blessing to me, is that I can really like trust him, because he has like a very good perspective on life. I feel like it's hard to put to words, but he's perfect for me. Like, that's just what, like, my dad says that all the time, Tanner is perfect for you. And I agree. I think he's a great balance to the areas that I've needed to grow in. He just is so naturally good at them that it's helped me to grow without being fearful, if that makes sense. And he's just very loving and caring. Like he just, like, I know that he loves me so much, and he just makes it clear. And that's a really comforting and beautiful thing, to be in a relationship where you know that the person that you're with loves you so much and they want what's best for you. And I mean, he would do anything for me. I mean, I would do anything for him. I love him dearly, and I always say, like, all of my dreams, like, have you in them, so I don't ever want anything to happen to him, because he's just, like, the best person that I know, and I just love him so much. Ooh, okay. Number 7? Or no, this is 6. Okay. What is my biggest insecurity? I have quite a few insecurities, if we're being honest here, but I think one thing that, like, in my mind I go back to is that I'm perceived as a boring personality, and I guess like a boring person. I don't know if, like, maybe I'm just insecure that I'm not super outgoing, and then maybe I feel the opposite of that is, like, you're just boring if you're not outgoing. I don't know, but I'm always worried, like, when I leave, like, social settings, like, oh, like, was I lame? Like, was I, like, super, like, just not fun? So that would probably be my biggest insecurity, is I feel like I might be perceived as a boring person. And I hope I'm not, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, this is my personality, so I'm definitely not going to be the most outgoing person in the room, but that's okay. But yeah, I would say that's my number 1 insecurity, is, am I boring? The next question is, what do I consider to be one of my biggest strengths? I think over the course of my 30 years, the number 1 compliment I've received, or at least the one I've received most frequently, has been that I'm very thoughtful. So I would assume that's one of my biggest strengths. But I do love, like, the people in my life so much. Like, I think a quote that has stuck with me over the years, I mean, this is since my teen years, has been, when you walk into a room, you're either saying, here I am, or there you are. And I've just wanted to be somebody that, it's just not about me when I walk into a room. I really want to get to know the people that are surrounding me, and to know the things that they like and they love, and what makes them feel special, and what cheers them up on a bad day. And I just want to know people really well and know how to care for them better. And so yeah, I mean, I like doing little thoughtful things, because I know that all of us have difficult times, and no one's life is perfect. And if I could be someone that comes into someone's life and makes it better, I want to do that. So yeah, I guess if that's what I've heard the most, I would say I really care about others, and that leads to me wanting to be thoughtful. The next question is, what is Tanner and my biggest fight? So I feel like you're gonna be disappointed, but I don't share all of that stuff on here. I know, like, people like to know these things. And the only reason is because I don't ever want to taint, like, someone's view of someone that I love. And so it doesn't mean we haven't talked about, like, crazy fights we've been in with, like, close friends, but just with like, just it being open to anybody listening, I have to protect, like, reputations. So he's a great guy. It's nothing that's gonna, you know, be groundbreaking, but I just am not gonna share that here, and I'm so sorry. But what I will tell you is I'll tell you a funny story. Well, funny to me now, because I can laugh about it. So Tanner and I had this time in our lives where we were, like, trying to have, like, a prank war with each other, which, side note, I cannot prank people. I'm just so bad at it. Yeah, it's just not something that comes natural for me. He, on the other hand, is very good at that stuff, and so he'll just know exactly what would be, like, the prank to just get you like, stressed out. And so there was months and months and months where, like, he would post something and tag me on Instagram, and it would just be this horrendous photo or embarrassing video of me, but it would have, like, a very sweet little caption on it, like, and on his Instagram story, and be like, I just love her so much, she's the best. And but, like, what the photo was and everything was just something I would never want on the internet. And so he would do it, like, when he was working too, so I'd call him, like, please take that down, that is so embarrassing. Like, could you pick something that's more flattering, or something that's not, like, doesn't make me look so weird, and he would just start cracking up. I'm like, please. And so he'd remove it. But it would keep happening like sporadically over an extended amount of time. I'd have to call him like, what are you doing? Like, he's like, you look so cute. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, that's not cute. Like, remove that. And so finally, he started cracking up because he like really like crossed the line with one of them, and it wasn't anything too horrible, so don't let your mind go racing, but it was just like, I would never post that. And so I called him like, what the heck, like, why would you post that? Like, and he's like, but didn't you like see the words? I'm like, that's sweet. Like, and he had put it on our close friends, by the way, I need to preface that, so it wasn't going to be anyone like other than maybe like my siblings and a couple of his friends. Didn't matter to me though, because I'm just like, I don't know, like I said, overthink things. I'm like, I don't want people to see me like that. Come to find out, on this last one where he was like dying laughing, and I was like, please take this down. He's like, okay. He's like, by the way, you're my only close friend. And I was just like, what? I was like, so for months and months I've been thinking like, you know, my siblings and my best friends are seeing these like ridiculous photos of me. I know, not the end of the world to some, but to me I'm like, they were just not cute, you guys. And turns out it was just me that could see them at any point anyways. And so he got me so good, and I haven't been able to prank him back. I did try, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him, because I put a ton, like my daughter and I put a ton of salt. He used to love Dunkin' Donuts, and I put a ton of salt in his coffee, and he just drank the whole thing and didn't notice. And that's when I was like, this, I just cannot. Like, I was looking, waiting for him to be like, ew, and I'd be like, oh, I got you. I know, very mild, but he didn't even notice. So I gave up, and he wins, and that was like hands down probably the best prank anyone's done to me, because it just was, I thought, it just went on so long, and I couldn't believe that it was just me at the end of the day that could see it. So random story about us. And then, okay, next question is, what inspired your love of things relating to the home? I love that question. Thank you for asking that, because my hope down the line of having YouTube would be much more geared towards the home. I'm in a very interesting in-between right now, but my love of home has really grown over the years. And oh, there's a quote by Joanna Gaines, and it says, make home a place you never want to leave. And that has kind of been my inspiration of creating our home, and just having a place that embodies warmth, love, and just togetherness. And for me, I would say just appealing to all the senses. That's really, to me, what makes a house a home, is just, you know, what do you see? Like, what are the colors that you see? What's going on in your space? Like, does it make you feel comfortable? And so I try to appeal to that. And then like hearing, obviously, like first and foremost, your home should be one of encouragement and just love towards one another and how you conduct yourself. But also, I love to have music playing. I love Shane and Shane, so if you like worship music, they're my all-time favorite, especially the Psalms albums. So I would say that is a wonderful way to incorporate sound into your home in a way that is soothing. And also, we've had some fun, like I love Pride and Prejudice, and so there was a while where we would put on the soundtracks. My daughter loves it too. We'd put on the soundtrack at dinner time, and it just made it feel like, my daughter calls it like fancy dinner. We'd light a candle and just have the music going and eat together, and it just really helped us to slow down and just be more intentional after a full and busy day. So I would say that is a great way for hearing. Gosh, let's see if I can get through all the senses. Oh, smell. Okay, so home cooked food, that's like crucial for me. I just think the smell of like a warm meal cooking is so comforting and lovely. And also candles. I love candles. I think that just having a home that smells inviting is a great way to make your place cozy and just a place that you just want to sit and relax in. Let's see if I can remember all these things. I tried to write things down to help. Oh, okay. Touch. Like, we're pretty affectionate, I would say. Like, I just like to give my kids hugs and kisses and snuggle up with them on the couch. I think that that's that's so important. Like, my kids love hugs, and I want to make sure that we have that within our home of just, and even just our kids seeing like Tanner and I be affectionate towards one another. I think that really is crucial to creating a healthy home environment, is just being like willing to, you know, give those hugs and that time and sit with one another. I think that that's such a beautiful way to create like a closeness within your family unit. So we're pretty big on that. Did I get through all of them? I hope so. If I didn't, sorry. I'll have to do like a whole different video on just that, because I could go on about it. But I think it's so important to appeal to the senses to create like a special and unique home environment for your family. The next question is, how do you make motherhood look so easy? Also, I love you. That's my sister. What's funny is I feel like motherhood is not easy at all right now. This is the hardest season, hands down, that I've ever been in. But I would say something I'm learning right now, because I'm learning something new all the time, so my advice will probably change anytime someone asks me that, is a lot of things start with you as the mom. And I've learned that I have to really be in a good place to parent effectively and to parent intentionally. So that means for me as a Christian, not neglecting time in the Word, opening my Bible, being mindful to carve out that time to pray, and to also realize that with the Lord, you can bring any request to Him. Like, this is just a random story that popped in my head. As a mom, I did not like cooking for years. Like, I genuinely thought, this is it. Like, I did not like it. And I have a big family, so you kind of need to like it a little bit, because eating at home is much more practical than eating out with some people. But I remember at one point I was like, you know what, rather than always feeling like my prayer requests have to be like, help me to be more patient and more kind, and those are good and important things, I don't want to say those aren't, but I just started to be very real with the Lord and just, God, help me to love cooking, or at least to be more okay with it, because I don't like it, but I need to do this. And it's, you know, it's just an important part for me of needing to grow right now, is like, I need to cook at home. Like, it's much more affordable, and I don't like doing it, but help me, God, to grow in that area. And, you know, this might sound silly, but like, I absolutely love cooking now. And it did take time. Like, I had to just do it repetitively, but now I enjoy it. And I think what made me love it even more is like, now my oldest daughter loves to be in the kitchen with me, and it's like this special thing that we get to do together. And I would say, just in motherhood, bring everything to the Lord, like no matter how small, and allow Him to really work in you, and believe that He can in even the tiniest, maybe silliest things. So just remember, like, how we act has a huge impact on how our kids will behave. And it's not to say that it's entirely up to you, because ultimately it's the Lord who works on the hearts of our children, but just remembering, like, don't neglect your time in the Word, because we are at our best when we're relying on the Lord. My camera stopped working for a second. I need to get it fixed, you guys. What I was trying to say, though, in case it cut off, is we are at our best as moms when we are relying on the Lord's strength and not our own. So that is crucial. That is something I've learned. Do I have a nanny? That question made me laugh. No, it's just me all day, but it's okay. Like, honestly, this is genuinely what I wanted to do with my life. Like, as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I have 5 incredible kids who I love with all my heart, and I can't picture myself doing anything differently than what I'm doing right now. So it doesn't mean I wouldn't accept help. Like, we do have a gal who comes on Fridays right now to watch the kids for a couple hours, so I can get out, and that's very important, like just having time to be refreshed. So those 3 hours, I mean, time moves at a different pace when you don't have your kids, I will say that. So that's been a wonderful blessing for me. But no nanny. I'm with my babies all day, and I wouldn't have it any other way. The next question is, do you ever think you'll move back to Tennessee? These questions are like, Tanner would be like, who asked you that? I'm like, I have not met these people. They're very sweet though. I mean, I think I've been very upfront with anyone that's talked to me that I've always wanted to live in the South. So if the Lord, you know, has us go back at some point, I would not be opposed to it. Like, no arguments from me there. So I'd like to say I hope so. I would love to live in the South. It's such a like comforting environment for me. The slow pace is just something that I felt like suited me and also my family well. So I would love to, if God, you know, makes that clear and allows that to happen. What's one of the nicest compliments you received? I think the first thing that popped in my head is what I'm gonna go with. You make everything around you beautiful. I think that was one of the nicest things anyone has ever said to me. Like, that makes me happy. Like right now I'm like, wow, that's like such a huge compliment to say to somebody. So thank you, because you know who you are. Okay, if I had a warning label, what would mine say? These questions, like I was showing my husband, like these are the most hilarious questions I have ever gotten asked on a Q&A. My warning label would say, warning, she overthinks a lot, for sure. What are my tips on birth and recovery? I mean, I feel like that's kind of broad. Like, I don't know if you already have, like for me, I had mostly C-sections. So my tips for a C-section would be, you're gonna need help. I mean, some people have really smooth recoveries. Mine, I mean, my first recovery was just not good. Like, I wouldn't want to relive those few days. But my other two were great. Like, I mean, you're in pain, but my husband helped me like get in and out of bed. It was a very humbling time. Like, we said, oh, there's like our first little incident where we're like, you know, in sickness and in health kind of thing. He really was there for me and helped me. I mean, he was like giving me pep talks, like the first C-section I had when I could not even like scoot out of bed, and I'd be like in so much pain for some reason with that first one, and he'd just be like, you can do it, oh my gosh, look at you. And it was like, I would crack up, like, because I'm like, babe, like I moved like 1 inch. But he was just very supportive and loving, and he would just sit next to me for hours because I couldn't get up. And so I think having people in your life when you're recovering, that to me is a comfort. Just knowing someone's there that cares about me and loves me, that brings me so much peace. And I think just taking things one day at a time when it comes to C-section, like, it gets better every day. I have this thing where I say day 9 is like my turning point day, and it's proven to be true. I had 3. After day 9, I usually was like significantly better and able to be like mobile and not in so much pain and moving about with a lot more normalcy. And then just regular birth, I don't want to say regular, they're all great as long as your baby's healthy, right? But the first 2, I feel like it's been so long, I don't really remember. I don't remember having difficulty with my first 2. Yeah, sorry. I don't know, I think I'm getting older, you guys. I don't remember my recovery being like anything crazy when I had Haven and Cade. I don't know, I was like on cloud 9 when I had Haven. Like, it was like the most surreal, incredible thing that if there was any pain, I forgot it because I do not remember. I just remember C-sections being difficult. So I don't know if I could advise much there, other than maybe the same thing, like take it one day at a time and realize that it gets better. Things get easier, and time does heal things, like literally heals your wounds. So that would be my advice. Would I share a makeup tutorial? I don't think so, because I don't really know how to do makeup. Like, I watched a couple like clips, because when I have to edit, I have to kind of see myself, which is still incredibly awkward and strange. But sorry, you might hear my kiddos. They're ready for a snack downstairs, so my husband's with them. But what was I saying? Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm always like YouTubing, how do I apply this properly? Because I'll watch things back, like now that I film, and I'll be like, what the heck? Like, my makeup was not blended very well. Or I'm like, that was way more makeup than I thought I had on. So I don't think I'd be the best. I don't think I'd be any help. But the next question was, would I share the makeup products that I use? That I would share. So maybe I'll do that in a different video. I'm definitely more of like a tried and true kind of gal. So like, once I know a product that I like, I tend to stick with it. I'm not very adventurous because I feel like makeup's expensive. And for me, like, a random fact is I have very sensitive skin. So I can't do a lot of like the more like drugstore products. Like I wouldn't mind at all. It's just, I don't know what the deal is with my skin, but like it breaks out really easily if I'm not using like a little bit higher quality things. So, I mean, to me it's like a negative because I'm like, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on makeup. But I do have a lot of products that that I've used for years and years, and I wouldn't plan on changing them, so maybe I'll share that in a different one. But the last question makes me very nervous because you all ask a lot of great things and also are totally bringing me out of my comfort zone. Someone asked if I could play a little something on my guitar, and I'm just gonna say yes, but I need to preface, I haven't played guitar in months, and my nails are a little bit long, so it's kind of hard to hit the chords properly, but I'll just see what happens and we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna play a little part of the worship song that I love right now by Shane and Shane. It is so beautiful, and I think I briefly mentioned this already, but if you haven't listened to that album, please listen to it. It is so encouraging. And quickly going back to anxiety, that has been absolutely crucial for me in getting out of a bad headspace, is listening to worship music. So just put it on and be encouraged by the words, because man, like there's nothing like hearing truth to help you fight against just negative thoughts that you have. So let me end with this song, and yeah, here we go. Oh my goodness. Sweating. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have been such a blessing to me. I know I don't know you all personally, but I just want to say that you have made my life so much better without even knowing your face. So thank you for being such an encouragement to my life, and I pray that I can be the same for you. I hope that you have an incredible rest of your week, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!